Hello, everyone. Elizabeth Talbot here from the Jesus 101 Biblical Institute. Today, I want to start by showing you a photo that is one of my favorite photos with my dad. I am so proud here to be with him. I always felt so special in his arms. And the truth is, he would tell me often that he was proud of me, all the way till I was an adult. I was a true daddy's girl. And it's very special to know that there is a kinship and that your father is proud of you. Today, I want to analyze with you a story from the Gospel of Luke. The Gospel of Luke tells us that Jesus would notice everyone. It would make everyone feel special. And today we're going to talk about a story of a woman who was marginalized by society, and yet Jesus called her something very special. So come with me. Today we are studying the topic, You Are Noticed. You Are Noticed. So let's go to Luke chapter 8. And we're going to start with the story of a man and then a woman. See, the Gospel of Luke does something very interesting. It intercalates stories of men and women. Men were important in that society, but women were not that important. And the Gospel of Luke shows that for Jesus, everyone was important and everyone was noticed and special to him, right? So let's go to Luke chapter 8. We start with the first story, verse 41. There came a man named Jairus, and he was an official of the synagogue, and he fell at Jesus' feet and began to implore him to come to his house. This is interesting because we are given the name of this person and the status. He's an officer of the synagogue, and most synagogues only had one officer. So he's a very special person, and everybody knows him. But he's falling at Jesus' feet, which was not a regular place where you would find a person that was esteemed in society, right? And so we are told in verse 42 why he was there. For he had an only daughter, about 12 years old, and she was dying. You know, no, it doesn't matter how important you are. If you have a child and if you have your girl that is in trouble and she's dying, you will do whatever you need to do to get help, right? So we're expecting Jesus to go with him because he's an important man and we want Jesus to help him. And his daughter, that is 12 years old, she's dying, and she's an only daughter. It makes me feel like I used to feel with my dad because I'm an only daughter. I'm an only child, actually. And this man is so desperate for his little girl that he goes to Jesus. Jesus starts going with him, but right there is another story that starts, and this is a woman. And the woman is not, we don't know her name, we just know her sickness. And this is what it says. The next verse, verse 43, as Jesus is going to Jairus' house to heal his daughter. Verse 43, a woman who had a hemorrhage for 12 years and could not be healed by anyone came up behind him and touched the fringe of his cloak. It's interesting because we get this other story, like an interruption. And she's a woman, and we don't know her name. We know just that she was bleeding for 12 years. And have you noticed how interesting that she was sick as long as Jairus' daughter has been alive? Jairus' girl was 12 years old. This woman has had an hemorrhage of blood for 12 years. She has been sick as long as Jairus' daughter has been alive. And you know, she does something that she was not supposed to do. She touches the fringe of Jesus' cloak. And it's interesting, if you read Leviticus 15, verses 19 to 31, you'll see the rules for women who were bleeding. They couldn't touch anybody or be touched by anybody. And this woman breaks the rule. And of course, she's desperate because she's also dying. And she's nobody's little girl. There's no man that stands for her. You know, in that society, usually men spoke for the women, either husband or father or brother or son. No man is coming to speak for her. And she is so desperate that she does the unthinkable. She touches the cloak of Jesus. And we're told in verse 44, her hemorrhage immediately stopped. So this is the miracle of healing, but she's going to get so much more than this. Jesus wants to do more for her than simply heal her of her disease. So On verse 45, Jesus stops everybody. The whole crowd that is going to Jairus' house, Jesus stopped them. Verse 45, and Jesus said, who is the one who touched me? How come Jesus does this? Why does Jesus call attention to this poor woman who is trying to be unnoticed? And Peter said, Master, the people are crowding and pressing in on you. Jesus said, no. Someone did touch me, for I was aware the power had gone out of me. And this woman comes and falls also at his feet. But she's trembling because she did something she was not supposed to. Verse 47, when the woman saw that she had not escaped notice. Oh, I love that sentence. She had a doctorate in escaping notice. You know what I mean? And she saw that she had not escaped notice. She came trembling and fell down before him and declared in front of everybody why she had touched him. And then Jesus said something that changes the whole story. He said, daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace. He called her daughter. Daughter, she didn't have a daddy that came to speak for her, but Jesus said, you are my daughter. I am your daddy. He invites her to his kinship, so much more than simply a healing. This poor woman who had all kinds of labels that she had been wearing. She was the sick one. Everybody knew that. But on top of that, she was the rejected one because nobody wanted to be seen with her, right? But on top of that, she was destitute because she had spent all her money with doctors. You know, maybe you're wearing a bunch of labels too. But today, Jesus tells you, you are noticed, you are valued, you are my daughter, you are my son. And he calls her daughter and says, from now on, you can go in peace because your faith not only has healed you, has made you well. And the verb in Greek is made you whole, saved you. At that moment, there is a messenger from the other house and says, your daughter has died, because now we have a tale of two daughters. And Jesus said, just believe, she will be okay too. She also will be made well, made whole. I want to leave this with you. Jesus notices you. You are special to him. He not only heals you, but saves you, makes you whole, and tells you, you are noticed. You're not just one more person in the crowd, no matter how marginalized you may have been. Today, Jesus wants to tell you, you are my child. There's a beautiful verse in 1 John 3:1 that says, behold, what manner of love the Father has given unto us, that we should be called children of God. And yes, that is what we are. That is what you are. You are God's child. And he says to you the same thing he said to this woman. Go in peace. Go in peace. Daddy is here. You have a new kinship. No matter who has rejected you, who has made you hide or has made you a wallflower, you are noticed by God. He values you, loves you. And overall, today, remember this. You are noticed. You are noticed, and from now on, this is your identity. You are a daughter. You are a son of God. So go in peace.